Emotional intelligence, or EI, is the ability to recognize, to understand, and to manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. So, to begin this section, let's define what we actually mean by emotional intelligence. And I'm going to share the screen to the PowerPoint presentation that you also have in your notebook. And emotional intelligence is about awareness of key skills and behaviors that are critical to leadership. So the four key skills of emotional intelligence are the ones that are in this graphic that you've got in your materials, these four boxes. Emotional intelligence is about understanding the emotions that drive our relationships. So that top left box, self-awareness, if you are self-aware, you understand yourself. This is what you see in yourself. It's your own motivations, it's your behaviors, it's the reasons behind them. And if you understand yourself, then what can you do? On that right side, you can improve your behaviors. You can improve your own reactions. And this is defined here as self management. So if you do both of these things, that is personal competence, that top half of the chart. So as you improve your own personal competence, you become more aware of emotions in other people, their motivations, why they do what they do. And this is called social awareness. You can see their reactions to stimuli. And if you are more socially aware, you can better handle difficult situations with other people. This is what you can do and more effectively manage your relationships to be positive and productive. You can influence, you can have an effect on their emotional reactions. And that together with understanding their motivators is social competence. This is what you can see and do regarding yourself and other people. You put those all together, that's emotional intelligence. It's the capacity to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while also perceiving and having an influence on the emotions and the responses of people around us. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's not about just acting nice all the time. It's about developing these awarenesses to navigate your internal world and the social complexity of your workplace with intention and with clarity. So, with that being said, and that being the definition of emotional intelligence, that's going to bring us to our first breakout session of the day. And I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to have you go to the leadership training website. And if you scroll down, there are links to Google Docs in breakout rooms. So I'm going to have you go to group one or group two or group three and answer this question. So in defining emotional intelligence before today, how would you have described emotional intelligence to somebody else, to a peer? How does the definition that we just explored change your perspective on its role in your daily work? So I'm going to give you a moment to write this down and talk amongst yourselves and have somebody record this on the Google Doc. So I'll give you a moment to do that. So let's see what our groups have done. So group one, how does your definition change now? So group one says, we used to think emotional intelligence just meant managing our emotions. So we didn't react poorly to stress, but it's equally about how we help others navigate their emotions. This means we need to spend less time just solving technical problems and more time intentionally building others up. And that is absolutely correct. I'm going to share the thumbs up emoji here. It is about listening to other people. It's about knowing that their responses are different from yours, but are still valid. So let's move to group two. What did group two say? So before today, we defined emotional intelligence as just people skills, the ability to read a room, navigate difficult personalities, and keep everyone happy. The definition we just explored changes our perspective by highlighting self regulation. Emotional intelligence is just as much about recognizing our own emotional triggers, like feeling defensive when receiving constructive feedback. This means pausing to process our reactions before responding to an email, which will ultimately lead to better decision making and cleaner communication. Excellent. I'm going to clap my hands here. So thank you for putting that together. It's the self-management part of emotional intelligence chart that we saw. It's knowing what our own tendencies are so we can be in better control of our behavior. And group three, what can you add on to this? So group three says that, well, we used to think that emotional intelligence was just about being approachable and friendly. Now we see it means shifting from just tracking tasks to actively sensing when a teammate is disengaged or overwhelmed, then adapting our communication style to help them refocus. And that is excellent. You're helping them, helping other people. I appreciate you putting that down and thinking this through. Uh, when we talked about social competence, it's the social awareness of knowing what other people are experiencing and using the right approach and the right words for them. We are not controlling their behavior. We can be sure that they have what they need and help them make better choices and build them up for success. So thank you for everybody in the breakout groups. So we're going to move on to leadership context, and emotional intelligence is the catalyst that allows leaders to translate technical vision into team cohesion and organizational success. So why does this matter for your leadership? Think of emotional intelligence as the catalyst that turns raw technical vision into real world results. You might have a wonderful vision, a wonderful idea, but if you can't inspire people to follow you and do all the work that's involved in that, then your organization is not going to be very effective. So a leader with that deep technical knowledge but low emotional intelligence might struggle to maintain the cohesion of the team, especially when there are setbacks, when it's crunch time, when problems arise. Conversely, a leader who has emotional intelligence and can leverage it can translate that technical vision into a shared team purpose that accomplishes great things, fostering the trust and psychological safety necessary for a team to thrive. As you transition into and grow within your leadership roles, remember that emotional intelligence is the bridge that connects your strategic goals to the actual people who make them happen. So, going to ask you to put in the chat here, in your current environment within your workplace, what is the biggest people challenge that you face where an infusion of emotional intelligence could fundamentally change the outcome? So let's put some things in the chat here. So, all right, friction among the team during tight deadlines. Absolutely. When it's crunch time, it's a big enough challenge, just getting the project done, just getting work out the door. But if you add on interpersonal issues where everyone seems to be just getting each other's way, that's what we're here to address. Communication misalignment. Thank you. Someone else put that in the chat. It's so frustrating when you say something to your team and everybody seems to have paid attention, but maybe they're acting like they didn't. Maybe different people seem to have heard you say very different things, even though you knew you just said one thing. Because part of emotional intelligence is understanding that different people inherently pay attention to different things and listen in different ways, and the same exact statement might mean something different to one person than it does to another. And then, yes, siloed work. Within the same organization, one team sometimes is walled off or at cross purposes with another team because the team leaders or the executives they report to don't realize that they aren't on the same page with each other or don't care, want to do something that is just for their own purposes. And that leads to conflicts within these upper levels of the organization that filter down throughout the entire organization. So, all right, thank you. Moving on to the next section, the distinction between emotional intelligence and IQ. So IQ is cognitive intelligence, measures technical ability and logic. Emotional intelligence measures the social, the emotional awareness required to navigate interpersonal complexities. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint presentation again to the next graphic and moving beyond this chart we had last time. We're going to have emotional intelligence versus IQ. So you've probably spent your entire career thinking about your IQ. What is it? Your cognitive intelligence measures your technical knowledge and logic, analytic problem solving ability, things like math and spatial reasoning on this chart. And while IQ is essential for getting the job done, it usually is not sufficient for leading people. IQ measures your ability to solve a task. EI, or emotional intelligence, measures your ability to navigate the human dynamics that are necessary to keep that task moving forward and get across the finish line. It includes things like soft skills, empathy, understanding where somebody else is coming from, other people's motivations, self-awareness, as well as relationship management. So in modern leadership, IQ might get you into the room, but emotional intelligence is what keeps you there, what allows you to build a high performing, resilient team. So IQ is going to help you comprehend that task. Critical thinking is done with IQ, but defusing conflicts, understanding where they're going to come from and avoid them. Build the trust within the team, trust within you, trust among other team members, and navigate organizational change. Build people up during that process. And IQ tends to be fixed throughout somebody's life. You're either born with it or you're not. But emotional intelligence can be grown. You can learn to do it better. It is a practice. It is something you can get better at. So thank you very much. Stop sharing the screen.